to Cindy's Library, and today I'm going to talk about the rest of what I read in November. So let's get started. First, I read The Magician's Elephant by Kate DiCamillo. I'm finding that I am coming to love Kate DiCamillo, but this one has a story behind it. When was it? It's in October. We went to go see a play version of The Magician's Elephant, and so I had to read the book, of course, and the book is indeed wonderful. So we have our young hero, Peter, and he lives with an old soldier, his father's best friend, since his father died in battle and his mother died shortly after. And he lives in a town where nothing happens. His life isn't particularly good. The old man he lives with doesn't know how to treat him as anything other than a soldier, even though he can't be more than 12, if that. But one day, a fortune teller arrives in town, and Peter goes and talks to her, and she tells him that his baby sister, who he thought was born dead, is actually alive. So when he asks, well, how can I find her? The fortune teller tells him to follow the elephant. Well, not exactly sure where this town is on a real world map, but it sounds Eastern European. At the very least, it's very cold there, especially this time of year. What would an elephant be doing in a place like that? So, does an elephant actually arrive? Does she actually help Peter find his sister? You'll have to read the book to find out. Highly recommended for middle grade and even just below middle grade and up. I also read Daddy Longlegs by Jean Webster. This is the story of Judith, or she wants to be called Judy. Poor Judy, she is an orphan. She's known nothing but the orphanage. And not a very happy life, but she was smart enough to be given permission to do high school, and now that is basically over. Well, she did well enough in high school that one of the board members has agreed to send her to college. She thinks she's the first girl they've done that for, even though they've done it for some boys. So Judy gets to go to college, and all he asks in return is at least one letter a month updating him on her education. And so Judy figures she is rich for him to be on the board of an orphanage. She saw his shadow, and just based on that, she thinks he is tall. So she gives him the nickname Daddy Longlegs. He must have some decency in him to send orphans to college, but beyond that, she doesn't know anything about him. And so Judy starts on her college life, and most of this is her letters to Daddy Longlegs describing it all to him. As part of Nonfiction November, I read Of Time and Turtle Spinning the World, Shell by Shattered Shell by Montgomery. This one, it starts before COVID and then goes maybe up to 2 years or so, with Cy and a bunch of other friends working with this turtle rescue. helping to try and find and protect turtle eggs, find and heal and rehabilitate injured turtles, and sadly it seems there are a lot of injured turtles, especially around roads. Although not just that, sometimes it's humans, sometimes it's other animals, especially dogs. And it's an interesting coincidence that this happens at a time when this nation and indeed the whole world needed a whole lot of healing. Didn't enjoy this quite as much as The Soul of an Octopus by Montgomery, but I still greatly enjoyed it. And yes, we get plenty of turtle facts along the way as Cy describes her adventures with turtles. I also read The Black Arrow by Robert Louis Stevenson. So this is in the middle of the War of the Roses. We have young Richard, or Dick, who is the ward of Sir Daniel. That's right. So there's Yorkists and Lancastrians, and there's not just that. It seems that Sir Daniel, let's just say he's not been exactly nice to everyone under him, and an outlaw group known as the Black Arrow has formed up in rebellion. And Daniel, or not Daniel, it's Richard, or Dick. He is at first very loyal to Sir Daniel, but the more he finds things out, the more he starts to question. He also encounters a young man who begs for his help, and he does help, and the help is returned, and they form a friendship, but not everything is as it seems. Historical, Robert Louis Stevenson, what's not to like? Robert Louis Stevenson. It does actually say Lewis on there, so I guess we should say Lewis. Then, to finish off Nonfiction November, I read Dorothy L. Sayers' Her Life and Soul by Barbara Reynolds. Not exactly sure how they met. That was in Dorothy's later years. But Dorothy met Barbara at some point, and they became close enough that when Dorothy was unable to finish her translation of Dante's Paradiso because she passed away when it was about 2/3 done. Barbara was the one who finished it up. Would not surprise me if Barbara was involved with Dorothy's literary estate. In any case, this is her take on Dorothy's life. In fact, she does not insert herself really in here at all, but she does give plenty of details about Dorothy's life, from her idyllic growing up years, going off to school, going off to college, World War I, trying to find a place in the world, starting writing the Peter Wimsey novels, getting into advertising, several failed relationships on a number of levels in different ways, finally getting married, her son, getting involved with writing religious plays and becoming a religious voice, and then translating Dante. Quite enjoyed it. And that finishes up November for me. So, 2 nonfiction here, and if I'm remembering correctly, which I may not, actually, I have my book here. Let's take a look. Okay, so that is where November started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it looks like I did 5 nonfiction in the first half of November for a total of 7. Can't believe I read that much nonfiction. I usually don't, but it was rather enjoyable, along with some other things. I hope your reading in November was just as good no matter what you did. Hope you found some new favorites. Thank you so much for stopping by. I truly do appreciate it. So until next time, I hope we all stay safe and healthy. And as always, happy reading.